then I will turn it over to Russ, who will control the meeting and hand it over to the appropriate people. First of all, the meeting is being recorded. So we will put it up on the website and it'll be available for review by anyone by logging into the website. If you missed something or you want to repeat something or a friend didn't make it, we'll have it on the website. The second, once ADT Presenter Start, I'm going to change the view to speaker view. So the only people you will see will be the person who is speaking. There's a Q&A section, which will be at the end. Russ has a bunch of questions already submitted by all of you. So if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the Q&A, and Dee and other people will look at them over time, but they will be handled at the end of the presentation. And lastly, we have turned on closed caption. There's something on your screen on the bottom called live transcript. If you want to see the words instead of just listening to the audio, just hit the button that says enable or turn on. But all you have to do is read. Every appliance has a little different English, so I can't tell you what you're going to see, but it's being recorded. Closed caption is on. Q&A will be at the end of the presentation, and it is being recorded. With that, our fearless property manager, who knows everything about everything, Mr. Russ, will take it from here.
Thank you very much, Jason. And you mentioned some of the things I had in my introduction, but I'll carry on anyhow. Thank you all for joining us. I think there's about 220 people that are attending. First of all, at the board meeting on July 21st, I said to everyone that we were paying $11.16 per month for the security monitoring. I was wrong. It's only $10.97. So I wanted to make sure I cleared my name on that one. The Vector Security Monitoring contract expires at the end of this year, December 31st. We wanted to change companies because Vector services have been slipping. Their equipment is outdated and their replacement equipment was very expensive. So as Jason mentioned, we started interviewing companies several months ago. The vetting was done, again, as Jason mentioned, by the Cable and Technology Committee. Jason, the chairperson, there was others on his committee involved. The Safety and Security Committee, Barbara Schwartz, chairperson, and others on her committee were involved. And then again, Ted Solo, board member, and the liaison to both of those committees. Of course, Dee and I were also involved in it. We interviewed Vector Security, HW Automation, Sloman's, and of course, ADT. All companies submitted proposals. By far, ADT had the best offer to include equipment packages, available services, and pricing. All the questions that were submitted to me have been forwarded to John Butram, the Vice President of Multifamily Builders and HOAs for ADT. His presentation will answer most of your questions. If not, there'll be, at the end, there'll be time for questions and answers. So John, thank you. Thank your team for joining us on a Thursday night. I'll let you get started with your presentation and introduce your team.
Fantastic. Thank you, Russ, for that introduction. And thanks to everyone who is in attendance tonight. And also special thanks to the board, the Cable and Technology, as well as the Safety and Security Committees for choosing ADT to be Valencia Falls Smart Security Provider. As Russ said, we have a couple of colleagues of mine together with me tonight who support our community association program here at ADT. First off, we have Eileen Arbulu, who leads up our account management team for community associations. We also have Darian Samuels, who is our installation and service guru. And then finally, Barbara Bedgood, who leads up our builder division and is lending a hand with your rollout. So during the Q&A sections, I'll probably lean on their expertise for some of your questions. Now, during today's presentation, we'll cover a bit about ADT and our community association program. We'll talk about the security services and system upgrades that you'll be receiving as a homeowner of Valencia Falls. We'll also dive into the interactive features of the system and some of the optional system enhancements that are available to you. And then finally, we'll wrap up with the details of the installation process as you transition to ADT and how to be best prepared for your installation. And then, as Russ mentioned, we'll open up at the end for some Q&A. So as many folks know, the name ADT, they're seen the blue octagon many times. We are the largest smart home security provider with over 6 million customers. And we've been around now for a little over 147 years. And what's amazing is you see those number of alarms handled per year. It's just an astonishing 15 million alarms per year that are handled by ADT central stations. But I think the most important stat on this page is the number of years of experience of our technicians. As you can see, they have nearly 9 years of experience, which means the technicians that are walking into your home have the experience to be able to handle any situation that they encounter. Now, as I mentioned earlier, our community association program was created exclusively for community association customers. We're the only security company with such a program, and we provide 24/7 monitoring and service to the nation's premier community associations. So what does a dedicated program actually mean? Well, we have a team that has an exclusive phone number that you each will receive that provides 24/7 concierge customer service only to the residents of our community association clients. We also have a dedicated team of highly trained certified technicians that service our community associations. And the community itself will also have a dedicated liaison. That's the team that Eileen leads up, that'll handle any community-wide initiatives and questions. And you also receive a quarterly newsletter from the team. Now, this slide here is kind of packed. We won't stay here long, but as you can see, many of the most prestigious communities in South Florida trust the security of their community to our team. And we talked about the security monitoring and the monitoring centers. We actually have 9 UL listed monitoring centers, which helps us ensure uninterrupted protection. And so while all of these centers back up each other, we actually have one center that is dedicated to our community association clientele. And the dedicated care team that I referenced earlier will have the specific details of the Valencia Falls agreements, which is important because I don't think anybody on this call wants to give this presentation again to the person answering the phone just to explain to them what your upgrade entails. And finally, again, our technicians, not only the experience we talked about, but they are also background checked and vetted. All right, so here's the good stuff. This is the services that you'll be receiving as part of the agreement with ADT. You'll have 24/7 monitoring, and that includes not just the monitoring of your burglar system, but also monitoring of the smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors, the life safety devices that are connected to your intrusion system. You also get that 24/7, 365 customer care and technical support we talked about. You'll receive an upgrade to your existing security system, which we'll detail on the next slide. You'll have cellular communication, which means that you won't need a traditional phone line in order for your system to operate. And you also have interactive services that will allow you to control your security system remotely from your phone or PC. And then finally, you'll also have discounted labor, as well as preferred pricing on system enhancements and services. And so for your new equipment, you'll receive an upgrade to your security panel, which is the SafeWatch 3000 control panel. Also up to 2 fixed English keypads to replace your existing keypads. A wireless receiver, which will help you add on additional equipment if you'd like. You also receive a panel battery and a key fob, which will help you be able to arm or disarm the system as you're entering or exiting, as well as has a panic feature on it. We'll also connect existing devices to the new system and test them to make sure they're working properly. The Cellular Communicator is provided by Alarm.com, which will also provide your interactive services. And then if you want to add on at the time of upgrade, the labor to upgrade any additional wireless devices is included. And we'll go through some of that equipment here in a second that is available for upgrading. I think we missed. All right. So on Alarm.com is who provides the interactive services. And so you can receive the remote services, which is a arm and disarm of the system remotely from a smartphone, tablet, or PC. You can check your alarm system remotely to see if it is armed or if you need to arm it. You can also receive text or email notifications in case of an alarm or when it's armed or disarmed. And you can create schedules of who can enter when and get notifications of that. So for example, if you have a dog walker that's supposed to come at a certain time of day, you can create a schedule for them that has their own specific code and specific times that they can use it. So 10 a.m. on the weekdays, the dog walker's code will work, but 11 p.m. on a Saturday, it would not. Some other optional upgrades, your keypads. We talked about the fixed English keypads that you'll receive, but you can also upgrade to an alpha keypad, which has a larger display and will also spell out the name of the zone. Then touchscreen keypads are also available, and both of these have voice components to them as well, so they will speak out the name of the zone. As far as security enhancements go, we have options to upgrade with a motion detector. We have a pet immune motion detectors, which help eliminate the false alarms from having pets that may roam the house. Glass break detectors, which detect the sound and vibration of breaking glass. And just to call out here, especially with all of us being in South Florida, these may not be effective if you have impact windows or windows with film due to needing the sound and vibration of breaking glass. We also have monitored smoke and heat detectors, as well as carbon monoxide detectors. And just one important note, if you have existing devices of smoke, heat, and carbon monoxide, these life safety devices, it's recommended that you replace them about every 10 years to ensure full capabilities. You have the key fob that we talked about earlier, your flood detector, which can detect a small leak before it becomes a big leak, and then wireless door or window transmitters that you can add to any opening within your home. And so I'll call out again that there's no labor including to install these wireless devices if done at the time of upgrade. And since your upgrade includes a wireless receiver already, you will not need to add that to add any of these devices. So next we'll go into alarm.com and some of the optional smart devices that you have. And so in addition to the interactive services, you have the option to add some home automation devices. And so these include things like smart lights, smart thermostat, smart door locks, garage door control, etc. Now, I like to call the thermostat the marriage saver in my house because we often leave the home and the AC is down at a maybe too low of a level for most, but we can remotely raise that back up when the home's not occupied, which I think has kept my wife and I together many more years. On the we have locks, which are available for maybe that dog walker we talk about. If you want to have a code, you don't want to give them a key, so that way if you do let go of the dog walker, you don't have to get a key back or worried about having them rekey it or have made a copy of the key. You can give them a code, again, that works during a specific time, and you'll receive text and email alerts when the door has been locked and unlocked. A garage door controller does just what it sounds like. It lets you open and close your garage door. But I don't know about y'all, but I frequently have left the house, been about an hour away and thought, man, did I close the garage door? And there's also been a few times where my neighbors have called me and said, John, you forgot to close the garage door again. So it's nice to be able to go on my phone and click a button and close that garage door remotely. Here's the marriage saver, the smart thermostat. So it can be controlled just like the other devices from any smartphone or PC. You can monitor temperatures when you're away. You can set schedules, and you can also set, so when you leave the house, if you geolocate, you get too far away and tell it, hey, once I get so many miles away, set that temperature back up to 78 degrees. So it'll know from the phone where you are and what temperature you want to set it at. And then in addition, we've got the optional video services. So you can watch these videos in real time or set up event-driven clips. So motion, something happens, the video starts to record. You can save these event-driven clips for up to 30 days. And I do want to call out that if you do have existing alarm.com cameras, we can convert them as long as they're unlocked by your current provider. And the additional charge for video services is only $10 a month. We have a variety of cameras, and we will send out a packet, which we'll talk about in a second, which will list many of them. But we have indoor and outdoor cameras. They're all high definition and will work even in low light, which is especially important for the evening time within the home or outside of the home. And they all will show live streaming video, and you can see multiple cameras at the same time. Moving on to doorbells, which I think has become one of the more popular devices in the security industry. If you have an existing Ring or Google doorbell, we can integrate those into our system, or we can offer you a new video doorbell. As you can see on the screen, this is the new Google Hello doorbell, which has improved analytics that recognizes people, vehicles. I know compared to my first Ring doorbell, I don't get as many notifications when the wind blows or a leaf fell off a tree. This is true movement of something that's happening in front of my home. It'll also tell you when a package arrives and is left at your doorstep, and you'll get a notification when the package is removed. So I will say that, I talked about the marriage saver with the thermostat. The package coming and going might have the opposite effect in my house, as I see how many Amazon packages show up. But nonetheless, it is nice with the porch pirates and seeing, that a package is still there or if it is removed unexpectedly. And so this is a summary of the services. I think I did skip over the price on the automation devices. So on the automation devices, again, that's the locks, thermostats, garage door openers, smart lights. You can have as many as you'd like for only $5 a month on the service. Video services are $10. So if you have both, you combine, then it's $15 a month. One last thing before we get into the transition of the community is our quality service plan. So we have a quality service plan that you can opt into for $10 a month. Now you do have discounted service rates, as we talked about at the beginning, as part of the Valencia Falls agreement. But with this plan, all service calls, parts, and labor for normal wear and tear are included. We show some exclusions apply here. Those exclusions would be like acts of God, flooding, or remodeling, if you remodeled your home, or if you took a baseball bat to the panel. Those things are not included under the quality service plan. All right, so moving on to the transition. The transition will roll out by pods, and we're sending out mailers, and the mailers will contain a phone number to let you know when to call in, and it'll have that exclusive phone number for our community association team. So we'll say it a couple times here. Please do not call in until you receive your packet. We're ensuring that all of your information is uploaded into our system. So that way, when you call in, we know exactly who you are and the package that you're supposed to receive. Now, it'll take our technicians about 3 to 4 hours in your home to complete a typical upgrade, where we replace the panel, keypads, and learning all the other devices, as well as the cellular controller. And we'll also establish your alarm.com interactive services account. So if you want to, you can download the alarm.com app in advance, and you'll receive an email from alarm.com, and then our operations team will help walk you through the usage. Now, we'll note, I think Russ said it at the beginning, you have until the end of the year to convert your system in order to ensure uninterrupted service. So we've got some time here, but we don't want to wait. The sooner we can get these done, the better off we are. And so how to be prepared for your installation. You'll get that welcome packet we discussed, and it'll lay all of this out. And Russ, I believe this presentation will also be available to community homeowners as well. With the welcome package, we'll have all the details, and it'll also include more details about the options that you have for enhancing your security system. So if you decide in advance that you would like to enhance your security system with any extra add-ons, make sure you give a heads up to the team member that schedules your installation, so that way they can schedule the extra time with the technician to take care of that. The one thing we'd also ask is that if you have any areas of the home that require special equipment, like ceilings over 16 feet tall, that may need a larger ladder, give us a heads up, so that way we make sure we show up with the extra long ladder and potentially 2 technicians for safety requirements. So when you call our customer care team, They'll know exactly who you are. Like I said, as long as you wait and call when you receive the packet, the technician will arrive. They'll ask you to complete an activation form. And this will include your emergency contacts and your password. So the folks that you want called if your alarm goes off and we do not reach you. So it's a good idea to complete that list in advance, so that way you're prepared for the technician when they arrive. We'll also help you program your user codes and provide training. So you'd want to have a user code in mind in advance as well. And then finally, the activation form will ask for your PBSO alarm registration number. And so you should have one if you have a registered alarm with Palm Beach already. But once you put that on there, once you're monitored, ADT, we're going to take care of advising PBSO of the change of your monitoring company. And then finally, we were asked to just touch on the personal emergency response systems. This one's near and dear to my heart. I just visited my 92-year-old grandfather over in Tampa, and when he answered the door, he had this around his neck. And so I was a very, very proud grandson to see him utilizing it. But this is our on-the-go device. And so there's no installation cost of this device and no long-term agreement. And it can help when recuperating from a medical condition. It's one of those devices that you hit the button and it'll alert our monitoring center, and we can talk to you over the device. What's nice is it also can go with you. It's got a GPS and a cellular communicator in it, so you can go to Publix, and if something happens at Publix and you hit the button or you fall, it has fall detection. It'll two-way voice to us, and we can talk with you, and we can also geolocate where you are. So if an ambulance is needed, we can dispatch them to your location. And so if you're interested in the on-the-go device, please let the agent know when they're scheduling your installation. And again, just thank you to everybody who's attended the call, and thanks to the board, Russ, and the committees for selecting ADT and for having us today. And with that, we'll open it up to Q&A.
Okay. Can you see any of these questions, John?
Yeah, let's see. I'll start at the
Hey, Russ,
beginning.
can I butt in for a second?
You certainly can.
You said that a lot of people sent in questions ahead of time. So John
Yes.
covered those during his presentation as opposed to a separate Q&A that you're going to ask him. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Thank you.
So John, you want to start? You want me to?
Sure. I think I see the first question from Rita talks about affecting the smoke detectors or fire alarm. If your smoke detectors are connected to your current security system, then we will tie them into the ADT system. If they're just a battery operated smoke detector, obviously those will not be monitored or connected to the system.
John,
Yeah.
I
Yes.
think you need to add a sentence to that because people get confused over the ones that wake us up at 4 in the morning and the ones that are hardwired into the alarm panel.
Yeah, that's right. So, your battery operated, typically a kitty or something like that has been up, that is always the one that goes off at 4 a.m. beeping. Those aren't low voltage smoke detectors that are connected to the security system. They produce a sound essentially, but they don't have the capabilities of sending signals to a monitoring station. Does that cover that, Jason? Is that?
It does. And that's why I know that the Safety and Security Committee and a certain special individual is really on a mission to have everybody have a wired smoke detector going into the alarm panel for exactly the reason John mentioned. Because if there is an incident, the things that wake us up in the 4 in the morning will not call the monitoring station. You have to have a hardwired system going into the panel. Is that correct, John?
No,
It would have to be.
But you don't have to be hardwired. It has to be connected to the panel.
That's right.
Right.
So you can go wireless or wired.
That's right. That's right.
The next one, John, will the motion detectors have to be replaced, and will there be a cost?
Hardwired motion detectors will definitely not need to be replaced. Majority of wireless will not be either. There's so many different wireless ones, but if it's connected to your existing system, we should be able to replace it.
The
A
next-
follow-up question to that, John, from one of the Q&As that was sent over to you, is they used to have batteries changed when needed. Is that something that you guys will also do?
For the batteries of the wireless components or even the panel batteries, we can come and replace them, or oftentimes we mail the smaller ones at this point, because folks don't want a technician come into their home to just replace one of the small batteries.
Okay. Will service contracts be available with the parts and labor costs? I think you already talked a little bit about service contracts. Parts and labor costs covered. We had it at our previous home.
Yep, that's the $10 a month optional. You also have the discounted labor rate as well if you don't have the service agreement.
But not the parts though.
Correct. Parts are still discounted compared to a what we would call a retail ADT customer,
Right.
because it's part of a community association program.
I had a cell service before and had a lot of trouble with no signal going to ADT. Has this been corrected? Of course,
Yeah.
we don't know where that was at though.
Yeah, the location and how long ago, but the cellular has improved mightily. We have a variety of cell providers that we use. So we have cellular with AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, and I know I'm missing one. And so generally, if one's not working, we do find a provider that does, or we do a cellular, like an antenna extender. That way we can get service to that home.
Okay. Can we have both cell and phone line service? Good question.
You actually can have, you can a traditional POTS line, right? The regular telephone line, as well as the cellular connection. If that is an option that you want, just make sure that you let the technician know when they're at your home, and they can take care of programming it that way.
That's interesting.
Yep. I'm a snowflake at Valencia Falls. Rarely how long do I have to have ADT come to my home and install everything? Also, will my home be unprotected until they come?
So your current agreement with your current provider is in place to the end of the year, so you won't be
Correct.
protected until then. And so you have until then to schedule the installation with ADT. And you can still do it after, by the way, right? You could do it, in 2023. However, then you would have interrupted service.
Right. Another good question. And I know the answer, but will ADT be using subs for their installation? No is the answer, correct?
Yeah, we use traditionally our ADT team members. Depending on volume of installation, we have a few partners in the area that have been with us for 10, 15 years that we can supplement in order to get something, especially see that when projects are getting close to cutoff time and we need to get folks converted quickly.
Okay.
Russ, I have a quick follow-up. John, if I am a snowbird, can I have my house sitter be available during the installation? Or does the owner have to be there?
We would prefer for the owner to be present, but we can work with Eileen for those that have house sitters to make sure that there is proper sign off for that. Obviously, we want to ensure we've got the homeowner aware of what's going on, the codes and such that are putting into the alarm system. So we have some procedures in place to make sure that happens.
Okay. Is the existing equipment we purchased from Vector compatible with ADT?
I'm going to say for the most part, yes, not being able to name every piece of equipment that may have been purchased, Russ. Overall, yes, they should work with the system. And
Okay.
same with Kim's question here about her existing wireless motion detectors.
Oh, okay. You saw that one. Is your camera system compatible with the Nest cameras?
Nest cameras, the newer versions, yes. I don't know if Darian's on the line right now, if it's for all Nest cameras or not.
Let me pop Darian over here real quick. Give me 1 second.
You got it? You got it, Dee?
I got it.
Okay.
Right. Darian, if you're listening, I just promoted you up there. There you go.
Hey, sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, so just to touch on that, John, yeah, the newer Google cameras that ADT is just bringing out, we actually just started that. So the newer ones are the only ones that'll be compatible with the new systems on alarm.com.
What about the thermostats? What about the Nest thermostats, Darian?
Yes, Nest thermostats are available and will be able to integrate with the system, so we can use those.
Perfect.
Okay, the next question, the big question is if you have existing equipment from Vector, examples, cameras, sirens, etc., will that have to be changed out? I guess it's going to depend on the equipment.
That's right. And like sirens are almost always compatible. They're wired in. The cameras, I think I mentioned during the presentation, some alarm providers lock out the cameras. So other firms can't take them over. So you need to contact them to unlock the cameras for Darian's team to be able to take them over.
John or Eileen, can you guys just go over again, like the notification process for the residents, especially if they're not going to be here, or, you know, they only visit home or their Valencia Falls home a couple times a year? How will that work out for them?
If we have an alternate address, we can send the packets to the alternate address. And then they can call from wherever they are to schedule it. Again, as long as it's scheduled to install before December 31st, they won't have any interrupted service. So if I can you can email them to me, any alternate addresses, and we'll send the packets there.
Perfect.
I have another follow-up, Russ. John, if I have all this extra equipment, cameras, sirens, garage door openers and whatever, should I notify the people when I call in for an installation that I have all these items?
Absolutely. Always best to notify so that way we can have the appropriate amount of tools or equipment if needed, but also the right amount of time is squared away to upgrade the system.
John, what about some people who may have already have ADT here in the community? Is it an easy transition for them to jump on to our program?
Yep, absolutely. And we'll go on and check out their current existing account, and we'll reduce their rate to only be for the additional services that they may have if they have video with us or something like that. So they'll get an instant cost savings.
Perfect. And can you just go over the alarm.com details one more time? We have a couple questions regarding that.
Sure. Let's see. So what comes with the system is the interactive services, right? Which is like your remote security system. So that's the piece that you can arm and disarm from anywhere, essentially, as well as checking your alarm status. This would be where you set up your open and close reporting is what it's called, which tells you anytime the system is armed and disarmed, which code was used to do that. And you can also get text or emails when an alarm goes off, and you can create the schedules. The additional services are the ones for automation devices. So your smart home devices, which is basically everything besides video, right? It's your smart lights, locks, thermostats, garage door openers, plugs that you can utilize. And so if you want any of those, as many as you want, it's $5 a month additional. And here's the locks, thermostats, and then the video is obviously the cameras. That includes doorbell cameras as well. And those are $10 a month to the homeowner.
Perfect.
Okay.
When do you all expect to start rolling out these these packets, these introductory packets to the residents?
Eileen, you want to take that one?
Sure. We already started the process of getting the template ready for our IT department to upload the sites into our system. Their process takes anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks. Generally, it's 2 to 2.5, and I would expect that people should start receiving their packets in about 3 weeks.
How about,
Thank you, Eileen.
there's the question, can you manually open and close the system without a fob? This is for house sitters and emergencies.
Yes.
Yes?
Yep. So if you have, I guess the question is arming and disarming the system, absolutely remotely. If you had the lock installed, then you could open the door remotely as well.
Well, they're asking manually, I guess, without using any remotes. I'm sure you,
Right. Yes, absolutely. I'm sorry, I misunderstood the question. So you go to the panel, and you have time to be able to type in at the keypad, your code, which will disarm the system, and it can be used to arm the system as well.
our home has a smoke alarm that goes nowhere. Will that be included?
My guess is that's a battery powered one, so it would not be, but you could add a monitored one, which in my house is what we have. We have, the battery one that's there that came with the home, and then we added a monitored one next to it.
Okay. Will my Wyze cameras work in the system?
We are not compatible with the Wyze system.
Okay.
How would you connect existing cameras to your system so they can be seen from the phones or the computers?
Compatible.
Yeah, is Darian still out there? Might turn over to him for
Yes,
that.
I'm still here. So if you have existing alarm.com cameras and we are able to get them released from Vector, so in order to release them, just a simple phone call and they will reset the camera and we can actually just learn them into our system on our side on the platform. So if you have existing alarm.com cameras, those will be compatible.
Can we change our, can we change our not hardwire to hardwire?
So wireless to hardwired.
Yes.
Yes.
It can be done. It would be a labor charge for that. And depending on how the home is laid out, may not be the most aesthetically pleasing look, as sometimes it's a challenge to run a wire concealed in a completely finished home, but definitely something the technician can look at and provide feedback on.
Okay. What is the cost to connect the smoke detectors to the monitoring?
So the monthly monitoring is included in the Valencia Falls rate. So there's no additional monthly charge for monitoring of any life safety devices.
Okay. Does the initial installation at conversion to ADT include, in addition to the control panel, a new window and door contact sensors? That's part of the question. That's the first part.
Yeah, I'm reading ahead, which may not be fair because they're asking about the plastic cracked ones. So Russ, if they're hardwired, we can pop on a new hardwired sensor on there as part of the conversion.
Okay, so that's what she's asking. If it's cracked and damaged, you're just going to replace that then because it's hardwired.
That's right.
Okay. What about the current indoor motion sensors? Can they be transitioned over?
The hardwired ones definitely, and most of the wireless as well.
Okay, I have contacts on 14 windows, 2 sliding doors, and 1 garage door on Vector. Will ADT transfer these contacts too?
Yep, absolutely. It's kind of the same as the motions.
So, okay. What
Russ, how
about,
come I answer questions, but then the open question number keeps getting bigger?
I don't know. I was kind of watching that myself.
I'm keeping up, guys. I promise. I'm keeping up.
I said, holy cow, that's just doubled. No, okay. Where are we now? I see that ADT can utilize the Google Home app. Can this system work with the Amazon Echo Alexa to control remote thermostats, controls, lighting, etc. by voice while in the home? That's part one.
So actually, I'm here, Darian. So actually, we are using Google, and Google just came up with an enhancement to allow Alexa to work as well. So if you have an existing Alexa speaker, then you will be able to control the alarm system with that speaker as well.
Wow. Please clarify the benefits of the quality service plan. What are we getting that is different from the basic warranty service?
Yep, so it will cover 100% of the labor as well as parts, whereas the traditional one is the discounted labor and you would pay for the parts.
On the slide, it was noted that the panels have lifelong batteries. Why then do the batteries need to be replaced as they noted in the question and answers?
I think we might say long life batteries, not lifelong. So if we wrote lifelong, then that's definitely a typo and Elon Musk could probably be calling me. And batteries, just a quick note on batteries. It's not the easiest always to estimate the exact lifetime of any of our batteries because it really depends on usage. And so, for example, a motion detector that you walk by, a dozen times a day, the battery life is shorter than a door contact, maybe that only gets open once a month or something like that.
Mhm.
Don, a couple of our residents are asking what happens when there's a power outage.
That's when the battery backup kicks in. So the
Mhm.
battery backup for the panel will continue to arm the system, keep the system armed. And the cellular communication will continue to have you connected to our monitoring station. Now, dependent upon how long the power is out, and again, how often you're draining the battery of that system depends on how long that stays active. But it's generally around 24 hours, Darian, would you say?
Correct. About 24 hours is good for a storm. But if it's something fast and the battery is being used for like 4 or 5 hours, once the power returns, then the battery will be recharged again. So if you have an outage and the battery and everything goes dead, once the power comes back up, it should be fully recharge the battery as well.
I put the new Kitty hardwired smoke detectors in a year ago. Should they be replaced?
I wouldn't recommend replacing any of the Kitty hardwired ones. If you want a monitored smoke detector, you can add that as well. Sometimes the hardwired smoke detectors that are in your home may be part of code of when they were installed. So, I wouldn't want to change or impact anything that's keeping you up on code compliance.
Okay, I'm new to the community and the alarm system was not active. How quickly can I get ADT here? When you get the package, you make the appointment?
That is correct.
Okay. So we're about 3 weeks from getting the package, correct? Okay. If we want window contacts changed at the time of installation, what is the charge?
Eileen, or Darian, I don't know, do you remember the window contact pricing?
Yeah, for the hardwire, this Eileen, would you say $15?
The hardwire.
No,
If
yeah,
you're-
hardwire. Hardwire is $15.
I think actually a little less, but they're certainly, they're not any more than 15. But if they want them replaced with wireless, those are $50.
Correct.
Okay. Does the remote thermostat controller also apply to the humidity stat that overrides the thermostat?
Darren, I see you shaking your head.
No, yeah. So with the Nest thermostat, it's a newer device. So it pretty much has a built-in humidity detector, and it'll keep you advised of what the humidity is in the house, what the temperature is outside. So the ones that are locally wired into the system will not be compatible with the Nest thermostat because you really need it. You can actually view and see real time what the humidity is on the app.
Okay.
John, some residents are asking what happens if and ever the cell service goes down.
Yeah, if you had, and Darren, I don't know if you have any kind of frequency of that happening, because I know it's pretty rare from cell towers going down.
Yes, it's very rare. I know before when the project first began, we had some issues with the 3G towers moving to LTE and the 5G, but right now, currently, I haven't seen an incident happen in probably like a couple of years now. So everything's been pretty quiet on that end.
And then anyone that opts to have the POTS line tied into the system as well, it would communicate over their regular telephone line, assuming that they have service set up for that phone line. I know a lot of us have canceled our traditional phone line.
Hey, John, can you hear me?
Yes.
We don't have POTS. We have VoIP. Everybody.
Oh, just got muted, Jason.
Oh, I'm
Jason,
muted.
it just, yep, we can hear you now.
Okay. We have VoIP Comcast phones, those that still have them, which is most of the community. Is that different than POTS connecting to the alarm panel, or can the VoIP connect to the alarm panel like it does now?
Well, if you have the basic Comcast system services, then those are compatible. But if you have to have the telephone line active from the router. So even if you have Comcast, that doesn't mean that you're going to have local phones in the house unless you're paying for that service or it's provided for the community.
No, let me rephrase. It's part of our package.
Gotcha.
So everybody, it's part of our package.
Okay. Yeah. So if it's something that, the homeowner wants to do, because I would say when you go interactive and we use the radio services, is really reliable. And, by the time the phone line dials, the radio will have been communicated over 20 times. So it's very fast, accurate. It's monitored 24 hours a day. So, if you need that secondary, function added, then, we can definitely have the tech do so. But it is compatible, to answer your question, Comcast.
Another question here that I've seen a couple of times because I'm just scrolling through the questions. Some residents have a blue light on their garage that may alert police of their location. Does that transfer over to you guys? Is that anything different?
No, all good there, dude.
Oh, good.
Okay, if we have a wired smoke alarm, but not monitored, if we want to change to a monitored service, and is there a cost to changing to a monitored service?
So if the wired smoke detector, I'm assuming if it's not being monitored currently, it's not one that's capable of being monitored, then you would need to add a wireless smoke detector to the system. There's no cost for the monitoring service, just for the device itself. And there would be no labor if you have it installed at the time of the upgrade.
Okay, the window sensors are here again. All of our windows have sensors. Will they need to be replaced, and what will it cost?
Yep, same as before. They're the hardwired sensors. There's no cost to replace those. Most of the wireless ones will be converted. So we should be good there.
Okay. Will the ADT system, oh, you moved it on me. Will the ADT system remind us when the batteries are low?
Yes.
What batteries should be used? Will the technician show me? And how to replace these batteries?
Yes, so the system will alert you both at the panel and over the app. The batteries do depend on which device that we're talking about. the technician can show you how to replace them, but it's also online. It on our website, it details out which batteries for which devices.
Okay. Is the basic system generally a break-in system? How much does the on-the-go button cost? I guess the fob. Is there also a monthly cost?
No, $65.
I think the question is for the personal emergency response system, right? The one that you wear around your
Oh,
neck.
the right.
Go system. I mean, I don't know if you remember the latest pricing on that. I want to say it's $29.99 right now, and it's zero. There's no contract and there's no installation charge.
Okay, it's encrypted then, the basic system. Okay. Here we go. Will all the windows and doors be alarmed? Oh, you just moved it. And the garage overhead door?
Yep, so if they have existing contacts, they would, and then, you know, if they do not, then we offer solutions for both the windows, doors, and the garage overhead door.
Okay. I have 4 motion detectors inside and 2 outside cameras. Will these be connected and charged $10 per month? Are they going to replace the window contacts? Well, we covered that part.
Yep, and then on the cameras, as Darren was saying, as long as the current provider has them unlocked and they're, I'm going to guess the alarm.com or if they're the new Google cameras, then they can be converted, and it is $10 per month total, not per camera.
Okay. I want to know about the siren on the garage.
That will be converted as long as it's part of the existing system. I'm assuming it is.
Okay. We had a bad experience with we had a bad experience with Comcast subs when we converted. Can we specify ADT employees?
Yeah, Darren, what's the best way to go about doing that when you call in to schedule?
Yeah, correct, John. So if you prefer a blue shirt, is what we call our regular ADT text. So just say, hey, can you send out a blue shirt, and we'll make sure that the notes are added, and we'll assign a blue shirt to that job.
Good to know.
Okay, is there a distance limitation on the on-the-go response item?
Must be a certain, so it actually travels with you. It clips onto your belt, which is like the hub of the system, and so you can, when it's on the go, you can go anywhere. As long as there's cellular connection. I guess I shouldn't say anywhere,
Right.
on a plane or something like that. But as long as you're anywhere where your cell phone works, the on-the-go device will work.
Okay. Can I buy a video doorbell and have it installed at no charge? What brands are included?
So Darian, I guess the question is, I'm trying to from buying it through a third party.
Yeah, well, the only thing is if you were to purchase a regular video doorbell that's not compatible, then we would basically want a Sky Bell. If you buy a Ring doorbell, then that's going to have a secondary app. So we prefer to have you purchase a Google doorbell from us, from ADT, of course, and a Sky Bell if necessary, because first of all, it's going to be warranty. You can depend on the installation that it's going to be done right, and we're going to set it up properly. So if you get a third party's device and have it installed, then there's probably going to be a little labor charge on that, John.
Yeah, I get worried about third-party devices just because it's not like third-party purchases, because we're not always sure where that device was prior to getting into your home. And so sometimes troubleshooting that over the phone when there's issues becomes difficult because there's been different software or different changes done to the device. So
Hey, John, am I allowed to butt in for a second?
sure.
I think you might want to address, because a lot of people are, I think, a bit confused over the cameras, add-ons, and this and that. For example, I have Ring cameras under a Ring app. I have a garage door opener under the MyQ app. When we install the new ADT, if I want to continue to use those apps, I can continue to use them. I just have to go to a different app. So I think what a lot of people need to understand, and I'm on this page, I do not want all my appliances under the ADT alarm component. I am keeping my garage door opener under my IQ app. I am keeping my Ring doorbell and my Ring cameras under my Ring app. I want my alarm.com to primarily be in charge of my alarm system, not all of my other items. And I think that's an important differential. You don't have to incorporate everything into the alarm.com app. If your other things are working, just keep them on a separate app. Do you have an opinion on that?
You're exactly right, Jen. We're only going to convert the things that obviously are compatible and that you want us to convert. If you're using, the app that comes with the product that you have, then you're more than welcome to continue using that. Absolutely. It's a great point.
Okay, next question. What is included in the basic package? I think you showed a slide on that.
Yep, it's the let me see, I can just share it real quick here. So the control panel, up to 2 existing keypads, the wireless receiver, the panel battery, key fob, and then connecting the existing devices, along with the alarm.com cellular communicator and interactive services. And then once again, the labor to install any optional wireless devices.
John, can you also go back and just show the upgraded items real quick? Because some people are asking, what are the upgraded items?
Absolutely. So I'll leave that on the screen. This is the system, the security upgraded items. And keep in mind, when we send out the packet, Eileen will include all of this in the packet as well. It's actually a little bit longer list, as well as all the pricing as well. Sorry, Eileen, I saw you off mute. Did they have anything to add there? No,
That's exactly what I was going to say.
And if residents already have like an alarm.com sign in, or they're using it at their other properties, they use the same sign in for their Valencia Falls accounts? Can they link that over if they have another property that it's already using alarm.com?
Yes, correct. So as long as they use the same email, then they can have multiple sites, and they can toggle between the Valencia and if they have another site as well.
Thank you, Darian.
Okay, I have 2 fobs. Will you give me 2 fobs? Can I use an existing fob?
yeah, if the fobs are compatible with the system we're installing, then we can program them to the new panel.
We
Okay,
have several questions coming in about like the emergency buttons and like lifelines. Do you guys incorporate any like third party or non-ADT lifelines, or do you replace them? Do you recommend replacing them over to the ADT?
I'm not familiar with that. I don't know if Eileen or Darian, if you are.
Well, if you have a different service, if it's Lifeline, and that's the company that provides the service, then that's going to be separate from ADT. So we cannot incorporate that service. But if you have a personal panic button through your alarm system, to what's like a single button that you use, then we can actually program that into the system. But it has to work with the alarm system that Vector installed previously, then we can activate that as well.
Okay.
how would I know if the cameras are locked out? I don't know what that means.
Okay, so a good way, so when the tech arrives and you have cameras, so each camera has a MAC number. So when we go to add the MAC number to our system, it's going to give us an alert saying, hey, this camera is currently being used by Vector Security. Please call your provider to add the camera. So we will know once we get there, because of previous experience with Vector communities, they pretty much locked them out, but I don't want to say that 100%. But the technician will try it first, and if it learns in, then we're the camera is basically unlocked. But if that message pops up, then we're gonna have to get on the phone with Vector and pretty much ask them to unlock the camera.
Okay, talk about flood detectors. Where do you need to put them? By all the bathrooms, all the running water?
Yeah, correct. I've seen them under. You can place them under the sinks. You can place them behind the toilets. If you have an AC pan, just to prevent that run over with water, then you can place them there as well.
Another popular place is hot water heaters.
Yeah. How about the cost again to monitor those smoke alarms? I think you mentioned it.
Yep, the monitoring is no charge.
Okay. You see, no. And you mentioned something about ADT mentioning the sheriff's department. They're registered with the sheriff's office.
So once we are begin installing, we will send a list over to the sheriff's department, letting them know we have completed these installations. Please convert the provider you show on your records to ADT. So we do that until we're finished within the community.
Okay. Who do you contact? Do you contact Vector about the cameras, or will the technician do it when they get there?
Well, since when the technician arrives, when he tries the camera, the homeowner will have to make the phone call just to, for identification purposes. They're probably going to ask for the homeowner's information. So it'll be best if they make the phone call, but the technician will be right there to answer any questions or to help in any kind of way.
Okay, using the keypad, can you turn the system on and off, and we'll tell you which locations are working or not?
Yes, it will. And I see that it says asking about will the system work with a missing location. It will, is if you bypass that zone, which is something that the technician can show you how to do and is also available online.
Okay, this person's moving next month. They have an appointment with Vector to come and set up a new service. Is there anything I should have them do? I'm not sure if my home has hardwired or not. I've been with ADT customer for 24 years, another home. So they're just moving in.
Yeah, I guess it's tough to know which pod, but Eileen, I think you could probably get Lisa's information and there's no sense in Vector coming out and then switching over a week later or 2 weeks later.
Yes, so if I can get, I have the roster now, so I will look for Lisa's information and we'll reach out to her separately.
What is the minimum going cost to us?
Zero.
Zero. Love that answer. Do you install door locks? And how much?
Yeah, yes, we do.
And I guess it depends on what kind you buy, right? On the cost?
Eileen, what's the standard lock? I think the ones that are on the screen, it's in the additional services tab. I don't have it in front of me. And I think if somebody was asking the type of lock, their Quick Set is the brand of locks that we use.
Okay, when does ADT start monitoring? When it's installed?
That's right.
Correct. Yep. Once the
Okay.
technician completes.
Is there a 1-year warranty on the new products, or how long is the warranty on the new products?
Yes, it's a 90-day warranty on the new products.
Okay.
Hey, John.
Yes.
There's been a bunch of questions. Russ, would you remind everyone that you sent out a summary of the ADD contract with add-ons. And that also when we can upload that to the website as well. Do you remember that whole detailed thing you sent out?
Right. You've already received a package with some of the costs and some of the details. And of course, the package they're going to send you in a couple of weeks will have most of that information. And besides all of that, if you go to the FYI tab on our website, we have a link to this service, and you'll find all that information there too.
And by package, Russ means email. There was an email that was sent out, and that email was replicated under the FYI tab in the website under ADT.
All right. Why are we paying for radio frequency transmission? Will that replace by cellular? Or we are paying for radio frequency transmission?
Right, so if they're probably contacting or contracting directly with Vector for a cellular radio, that's included in the monthly fee of the new agreement. So once you're upgraded, you can cancel that portion of the agreement with your current provider.
This is about,
Are you reading Ann's?
yeah, phone lines being cut.
Ann is correct. So originally when, alarm systems worked over a traditional phone line, the phone line was often exposed outside. So that way the telecom worker could service the system. When that phone line was cut, it eliminated any communication path for the alarm. So the alarm, when they would break in, would make a sound, but never reach the monitoring center. It's one of the big benefits of the cellular communicator is that there's not a possibility of your phone line being cut because it's self-contained within the panel inside of your home. So that eliminates that concern of the phone line being cut.
Okay, will new keypads cover the same areas of the old keypads?
They should. I guess it's just hard to tell every keypad that's out there, but generally, yes.
How long are the prices good for?
All the prices are good for a year. And but I will say that we haven't changed the prices in quite a many years either.
Will you have some consultants to guide them through what they need? I guess the technician would do that.
That's right. Our technicians are trained in providing, doing walkthroughs with you and giving, consulting on your security needs and what would work best where, coverage areas and things like that.
Russ,
Yeah.
one clarification. If I purchase new equipment at the time of the initial installation, zero charge for installation.
For the labor, correct.
Right.
That's
Now,
exactly.
in 6 months, I decide I want to replace or add, I will now pay a visit plus the cost of the item.
Yes, the labor charge, whatever the labor charge plus the
So
device.
it's advantageous to make changes
Yes,
at the initial installation.
yes.
Okay,
And that's also addressed in the package where we.
but I wanted everybody to hear it.
Thank you for clarifying that then.
The next one is if the system's replaced in November or December, what happens to monitoring? You take over when you replace it. ADT takes over when you replace it, no matter when that is.
That's right.
It's interesting, but system replace it. This is about the AT wireless system replacing hard wireless unless you prefer hardwire or ADT replacement wireless at our extra expense.
So if it's a hardwired device, we're going to continue to keep it as a hardwired device and learn it into the existing system. Same with most wireless devices, as long as they're compatible. Obviously, we've talked about some of the cameras and things like that, which aren't compatible with the system. And so if you wanted to add those, then you would have to add a wireless device.
Okay, this one talking about the replacement of the sensors at the windows. Are there a cost or aren't there? They got a little confused here.
Yeah, but if the hardwired sensor is there and the sensor itself is broken, the wire is still good, we'll replace those sensors. at the time of upgrade. If it's further down the road, then there's a charge if we have to come out to do so.
All right. Is there a monthly charge for the emergency remote system?
That's the personal emergency remote system. Yes, that operates completely separate from the alarm system as it goes out of your house and has fall detection and things of that nature.
All right. Talk about the standard install of a keypad versus an upgraded one. What's the big differences?
Darren, you want to take that one?
Sure, I can take that one. So if you get the standard keypad, it's basically an LCD keypad. It will notify you of the zone that's being open at the time. So it'll say 01. And of course, you're going to have your zone list written on the door of the keypad. But if you get an alpha keypad, it's going to be, it's going to basically have that description. So if it's a front door, it's going to say front door, and there's actually going to be a voice activated as well. So it's going to say front door open. And, so those are the alpha keypads. So those are, very important when you're trying to, see the description on the keypad, because the keypads are a little bigger. But if you also get a touchscreen keypad, of course, it looks very nice. It's updated. It's digital, so you can see everything in like color, and it's very easy to use because all you have to do is barely touch the screen, and you can arm and disarm the system. So it's very, very deluxe, and it's very aesthetically, it looks great.
Okay. Can you have more than one alarm code?
Yes, you can. You can have up to 30 codes on the system.
Okay. Why is the price list only good for 1 year?
Yeah, it's a lot with, especially nowadays, supply chain and manufacturer cost, and we don't know what the future will bring. We haven't increased prices in quite a long time on the recurring services. It's guaranteed not to increase within the first 3 years. And again, on those, we haven't increased for our community association clients ever as well.
Okay, what do you charge new residents? Somebody's moves in here in March of next year, and they want different things. Do they pay that $55 an hour plus the parts, or do you make special offers for new residents or anything?
It's sorry, didn't.
No, go ahead.
No, Eileen, you go ahead. I've talked enough.
If a new resident moves in and they want to add to the existing system that we've already upgraded, then yes, it would be the labor charge and the cost of the device.
Okay. Anything that can be put on the mailbox?
Not yet. We've looked at a few of those devices. Some challenges with distance back to the control panel that make signaling consistent. So not yet.
Will they be re-verifying which zones are which when they put on the new keypads?
Darren, you want to confirm?
Yes. So I can take that one. So yes, the technician will go through the zones and the descriptions of the zone. So, if you have it all like, kind of mapped out already, like you have the living room in a separate zone, kitchen on a separate zone, it will remain the same. And the technician will add the description either on the keypad door. If you have an alpha keypad, it's going to get programmed into the system. So you can tell exactly what it is while, when the door opens, or you can just read the door and you can see all 8 zones right there on the door.
Okay, does your systems self-test? And could we get a list of who hasn't self-test or who hasn't been tested in a while? We kind of do that now. The Safety and Security Committee kind of tracks who's been testing or not testing. And
well, the tests are initiated every 30 days. So, your system will automatically check in on that 30th day and say, hey, I'm out here, I'm working. But if there's an issue and we missed that timer test, and so we'll basically send a report to our central station, and, you will get an automatic phone call that says, hey, you missed the timer test. You may want to call for service, but that timer test is every 30 days.
Okay. Somebody, the sheriff's department.
Russ, as a follow-up to that,
Oh,
John, the safety committee monthly got a report from Vector indicating how many homes, not identifying each home, say 15 homes did not self-test. And then there was their internal follow-up. Also, Vector shared with us the number of homes that did not have a permit. Will ADT doing the same thing?
Yeah, I get Eileen, is that something, as long as we're not identifying specific homes, we should be in good shape, right?
On the permits.
On the testing.
I'm not sure. That's something we need to look into as far as a reporting on this timer set tests.
And as far as number of homes without a permit,
As far as the ones that don't have a permit, what happens when we initially do the installation, once, as I said, we will be sending, every week, we'll send a list to the sheriff's department of all the homes that have been converted over to ADT. They in turn send back to us, if we don't already have it, the permit number. It would be great if everyone has their permit number or can get it at the time of install so the technician can note it. But we can still continue to send over to the sheriff's department. If there are people who do not have a permit or an expired permit, they will let us know. I will let you know.
thank you.
next question's about service contracts with Vector. Yeah, I don't think that's on your end. That's on my end. Will it cancel automatically? I will have to follow up with Vector and we'll email blast the residents when we get some information on their service contracts with Vector. Another question, same question. Is it all ADT employees or do you sub it out? You already answered that. You only use the other ones if you need to towards the end, but for the most part, it's ADT people. And then there's a person who's wondering if a technician will do a walkthrough prior to them coming to do the installation so they know what to add on.
That's physically impossible.
No, so basically when the technician arrives, he's going to conduct a very, very thorough walkthrough. So he's gonna look for vulnerability within the system. Say, hey, you may want to add a smoke or a CO detector, because it's life safety. But that technician will spend a good amount of time just making sure that the system is protected and there's no, vulnerable spots there. So
yeah, so that's at the time of the install, though. They weren't
at the time of the install only.
yeah,
Yeah,
they're not going to make a separate trip out to analyze it and then let you know.
correct.
I have one keypad and I want to add another. Two are included, correct?
No,
No.
Two
No.
are included to replace existing keypads where the wire is already there.
Okay. So they can add one then.
John, I think you ought to repeat that. If I have two keypads now, you will replace two. If I have one and I want a second, I will have to pay for the second.
Correct.
Correct.
That's
Okay. In addition to the monthly remote system, is it possible to have a daily test? This homeowner is asking about daily test of your system.
More frequent tests can be programmed, but you know what, Darren, it might be a good time to just talk about supervision as well of like the radio and things of that nature, because that's constantly supervised, right?
Yeah, correct. So the radio is there and that's always connected to the tower. So if it goes down for any reason, it can be working at 8 o'clock in the morning, but if there's an issue at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, then that's basically being monitored like 24-hour. But as far as sending the timer test daily, there's really no need for that since the radio is basically connected at all times.
Yeah, and the entire system is supervised, so that way if things are going down, it'll alert both you and us that devices are going offline, which is an important feature.
So I think you guys have answered most of the questions that are here on the Q&A section. Can you guys just touch one more time on you know, the mailing of the packets to the residents, how that's gonna be done, and the best way that snowbirds can schedule their installation if they're not here, or what's the best way for them to receive the packets if they're in their second home. Just kind of go over that so that everyone's clear.
Okay, so again, it'll be about 3 weeks when we start mailing out the packages. Once they get the package, they can call the number and schedule. Any of the snowbirds, if we have, again, alternate addresses, if you're not here and you want your package sent to a different address, we just need to be advised, and I can make sure that that gets sent to the alternate address. We would want those addresses as soon as possible, though, since I'm going to start getting everything ready to mail and have them start going out in the.
Eileen, we're also going to remember emailing the packet to each pod. So that will go out to them, even if they are in Alaska on a cruise and they've decided to move up into Alaska. So maybe everybody didn't hear this. The pods are going to be emailed like we have done in the past with a full package in PDF. It'll actually be followed up in the mail with the same package for you. So anybody who's worried about getting a package, the only ones who are not going to get a package are the ones that don't have email on file. And that's only a couple of people. And then within a week later, you're going to get the actual physical mailed package.
There's one more thing I want to bring up that I forgot about until now is in your packages, you are going to get a sticker and a magnet. Please, at your install, please have that sticker put onto your control panel because it has that same phone number that residents should call at all times. I think, Darian, correct me if I'm wrong, but the panels already come with a sticker on them, which is the general ADT, and we want them to call the correct.
Correct.
Okay, two more, same question. What does it cost for a second keypad? That's been asked a couple times.
The
I can tell you that. What everybody needs to understand at the time of installation, if you want to upgrade to the voice talking keypad, they have discounted it by $100. So at the time of install, the voice pad upgrade is $75 at time of installation. If you want to install a fancy touch screen, which is the only thing I'm interested in, plus my new smoke detector, because my smoke detector, as John said, is 10 years old, hardwired, and that is definitely being replaced. As I did some research and found out that old wives' tale is true. 10 or 11 years of a smoke detector, it needs to be replaced. So those of you that are interested, it's a reasonably inexpensive upgrade at time of install to upgrade to the voice keypad. The nice thing about the voice keypad is it tells you in English which section is open or alarmed or easily bypassed, but it talks to you. Back door open, front door locked, side door closed, side door locked. So for $75, it might be worth it. The other thing is, remember, because this system includes the alarm.com app, anybody who has a smartphone will be able to lock, unlock, alarm, do all kinds of things from the app. So in John's case, when he decided to go to work and he forgot whether he closed his garage door, he didn't have to go back to alarm the system. He just opened the alarm.com.app and alarmed his system. So I am not sure that those of us that are so used to walking in the garage door or the front door and punching in a bunch of numbers are going to continue to do that, because I plan on using my phone to arm and unarm the alarm system. And every household is getting one key fob, which alarms and unalarms. So most of the ladies carry it on their pocketbook. So chances are you don't even need to use your phone or your app. You just hit the fob, the alarm alarms, and you come home, the alarm unarms. So I can tell you right now, my expectation is that most of you will use your alarm system more often because you don't have to think about what the heck is my keypad code. And I don't feel like punching the code. Plus, I want to do some sales for John and his team, but I think everyone would enjoy at least one voice activated keypad. Trust me, it'll make your life a lot easier. That's my last sales pitch, John.
Okay, there's one question that we didn't answer. Will I be able to adjust the time delay?
On the entry and exit,
Yep.
Darren, you want to go in?
We can, so it's standard. When you leave, it's 45 seconds.
45.
And when you enter, it's going to be 30 seconds. But if we need to extend that time, we can do that as well. But it can only be done by a technician that can actually go in the program and then change those
So
options.
that's something you should be ready to tell your installer.
Correct,
That I
correct.
want a minute time or 90 seconds, whatever it is.
Yes, you're correct.
Okay, this person wants the door lock installed if they ordered it from you, but I guess that's gotta be when the time comes. I don't think you're gonna come out for a separate door lock. And
I
then,
think the question is different, Russ. I think people want to know if they're going to do enhancements like door locks and keys and doorbells. Will the technician have enough equipment on his truck to do it at the time of install?
Yes, they will.
Since they
And
don't
if
know,
yeah.
they don't know what the resident wants.
Correct.
and
So
I think
as far as door lock goes, there's 3 different colors: silver, gold, or bronze. So the technician will have them. If they don't have them, we'll be able to bring it out to them. So we'll make sure that that customer gets taken care of at the same time of install.
they also talked about, everything's gonna be on the website. So when you make your appointment, you're gonna wanna look at what's available and think about what you want. So you can, when you make that appointment, you can tell them you're gonna have an additional keypad or door locks or whatever it is, so the technician can be prepared. Okay, this last question, John, I don't know much. Alarm.com, I guess your presentation said all you had to do was put the app on your phone, and this person's getting some information. It says that it's got the wrong password or something, and I don't know.
Yeah, I might have misstated that. I mean, you could download the app ahead of time is the recommendation. So that way you have the app on your phone. And then when the technician arrives, they'll help you get the account set up once they activate the system.
Yeah.
So Russ, for any residents, this way I can get Eileen a list of any residents with alternative addresses. If any resident wants an alternative address, communicated over to ADT, you guys can go ahead and email me and I'll put a list together and send it over to Eileen. That way she gets one email from one person with all the information.
Yeah. Well, what happens to the existing keypads?
Darren, your team recycles the equipment, correct?
Yeah, we can recycle them, or if you prefer the tech to leave them there and you discard of them, we can do that as well. So it's either or.
Now, that's a very
I
good
think-
question.
Go ahead.
Any equipment that ADT installs, I own. Correct? Same thing.
Correct.
Any vector equipment that we have, we own. You will handle the disposal. If we want to keep it, that's our choice.
Yes, that's correct.
Perfect.
So I think at this time we answered most of the questions here on the Q&A panel. We're also, like Jason said before, we're recording this meeting, so it will be posted to the ADT info tab on our Valencia Falls website under FYI. And we'll also post John's presentation on there individually as well, so you guys can have all this information. And like Jason and Russ also mentioned before, we have that quick snapshot of all the pricing and contract summary up on that FYI tab ADT page on our Valencia Falls website for any other questions too. So everyone can review those documents.
Okay, there's one more about paying for a smoke detector that's already there. Well, let's say existing smoke detectors. Did you see it, John?
No, if they're compatible smoke detectors that are tied into the alarm system, they'll be converted as part of the upgrade at no charge.
Okay. I think we did it.
I think we're good. We've
think
answered
we
all the
answered them all.
questions.
Very informative.
Well, we appreciate the time and the opportunity.
Well, same.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Eileen. Thank you, Darian, for taking the time to answer all of our questions. We look forward to working with you all, and we're excited. I'm sure the community is excited at this point too, so.
Thank you, Jason, for helping us out all the time. We do appreciate it.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody also. I've taken copious notes here, but I assume it's probably duplicative of what you're going to have in your package. But that's kind of my training. But it was a great presentation, all the questions answered. That's wonderful.
Duplicitous, and what was the other one?
I'm sorry?
Duplicitous, and what was the other
Copious,
big word you
copious.
used? Copious.
Duplicitous of
Copious.
what's in your package.
No, duplicitous and copious are two big words that you'll not see in the
Two
crossword
big
puzzle
words,
anymore.
okay.
Thank
Sorry.
you all.
All right,
It's a
everyone.
pleasure. Have a good
All
evening.
right, thank you very
Thanks
much,
again for
folks.
joining
Thank you very
us.
much.
Thanks.
Have a great
Thank
evening.
you.
Take care. Good night.
All right, good night. Thank you.